what you would really want to do in general in the environment, I think it's a wrong debate. I have, basically seen, left and right, people fighting around areas. Is psychology better? Is NLP better? Is psychiatry better? What's better? So, the question is not of what is better. The question is, what do they really address? Now, I told you all the areas and problems that NLP addresses. If that comes into the domain, NLP practitioners can take lead into those. Now, for example, if the client basically has certain disorders, certain areas where there's a disorder that is diagnosed, then of course the NLP practitioner is not capable of taking that on board, and they should be referred to the relevant authority. Now, psychologists who are clinical practitioners and people who are psychiatrists are well enough equipped to look after mental disorders or to work even more extensively towards mental health. Can NLP work in mental health area domain? Sure, it can. But extensive, work where there is a disorder described, where the client is not receptive, that's where their role comes in, and they play a very, very important role in our society. Why would we want to compare that? If you were to compare an NLP practitioner with an NLP practitioner, I'm more than happy to basically assess and study. But you cannot compare NLP with any other domain. They're very different. So it depends on the type of a problem. For example, if there's an internal bleeding in the brain, there's a head injury, then there's internal bleeding. Now you'll neither go to an NLP practitioner, neither you'll go to a psychologist, neither you'll go to a psychiatrist, but you'll go to a neurosurgeon, a person whose expertise are in neuroscience. Again, where is neurologist? So where is the problem really lying or attributing at? We really want to look into which domain serves better. But NLP practitioner for any individual who's lacking in certain significant amount of behaviors, is receptive and does not have a disorder, works really, really well. Can they collaborate together? I think it's a beautiful thing to collaborate together. I have all my respect for the field of psychology. I have all my respect for the field of psychiatry. I have all my respect for the people who are neurologists. So can we collaborate and work together? Sure, we can. And number of people do, by the way. So if you want to look this up in the curriculum of Stanford University, if I'm not right, I think I have that also described with me. Yes, it is Stanford University. So I was basically looking at other scientific areas and universities and institutions for teaching psychology, and in their structure, they have basically made NLP as a compulsory subject. So as part of the learning more complementary based therapy or alternative therapy. So NLP is there, and that's been there. So there's CBT, for example. There's EMDR, and CBT and EMDR are both derivatives of NLP, by the way. So NLP basically precedes this. So they both have also very, very scientific, and they're experted by various amount of psychologists, and again, so they do it. But then again, does it work for everybody? That's a subjective question. So NLP is also the understanding of subjective matters. So nothing, in true sense, if you say, is one thing a solution for everything? No, it's not. So sometimes what happens is that, yeah, sure, somebody could be going through stress and was not also something that was major stress. So some NLP techniques for that particular individual did not work. And it's okay. For that client, maybe CBT worked. And for certain clients, CBT doesn't work for a basic stress situation. And then basically they might go for EMDR, and maybe that doesn't work for them. Maybe they went to a dialectical behavioral therapist. Maybe they went to a psychologist. Maybe they just even visited a psychiatrist. Again, different areas will have different results. But any one thing cannot be substantial for every single thing. Collaborative efforts, I love it. So we have been blessed. We have been honored. In our organization, we had a lovely individual. She's an intersex educator, and she did NLP. She's having amazing results. So testimonials are available on our groups. You can connect with our graduates, and they can tell you a lot about it. So she's doing phenomenal work with transgenders. She's also using NLP coaching. She's a raving fan. She's the institution for experimentation and research for us. So a number of cases that she takes, we basically file and database our learnings from it as well. And we also compile it and we send it to Ted James and AB NLP so that he can also review our work. I've had the honor of a lot of psychotherapists who have basically, done NLP in conjunction, and they're having a beautiful result. So they're using their psychotherapy as well. And also they're intermingling NLP techniques in it. And it makes a very good flavor out of the two. Then there are a lot of psychologists that basically come to our NLP practitioners. And we have a lot of psychologists, some who have just studied psychology to the MS level, and some people who are clinical practitioners of psychology. Both have done NLP and they are raving fans of it. And they also give and recommend about NLP. We had also psychiatrists, by the way. So it was an honor. And they were sitting there. They were not sitting with the intention of challenging me that they know more about the mind, because that wasn't the debate. The idea was that they're the experts at whatever they do, and we respect their model of the world. We only gave them more tools and techniques. Hey, why don't you go and try this with the client? And why don't you go and try this with the client? And they had significant amount of success. Some of our graduates got back to us while they were working with certain disorders, how NLP helped them to manage it a little bit better. Now, does NLP work for disorders? We don't talk about that. But again, for psychiatrists, using it with their sense of knowledge and responsibility that they have, sure, they can use it. They're licensed to do so. So that's what what I really, really love. NLP is, it's just not about techniques. It's about creating behavioral flexibility. So that's what I enjoy the most. So we can have a psychiatrist, psychologist, and an NLP person working together, to achieve behavioral flexibility. And that's what we require for our clients. And that's what I truly enjoy. So some of the questions that were asked to me, but like, NLP practitioner करने के फौरन बाद आप किसी हॉस्पिटल में तो जाके जॉब नहीं कर सकते, आप अपनी क्लिनिकल प्रैक्टिस तो नहीं शुरू कर सकते ना. Well, no, and yes, also to a certain extent, there are a lot of NLP graduates who have their coaching clinics within their hospital domains. So they've established them, and they've written on top of it that we're just coaches, and our intention is to basically help people to elevate their empowerment areas. Sure, they do work. So, for example, not everybody in the hospital is an MBBS doctor. There could be somebody in the administration function who has learned NLP and has done it. So let me tell you about some graduates. So this is really, really interesting. So our clients are people who are, working in General Electric, who are basically from GSK, who are from Novartis, who are from, Bayer, who are working in Sanofi Aventis. The list can continue on of how many NLP graduates are there. NLP is an advancement tools and techniques that help the person to basically bring in more tools to the table. Their effectivity, their productivity, and their chances of success increase on the table when you have more set of tools and kits.